Let's start modding for Fabric in Minecraft 26.1. If you want to go deeper, the 26.x modding courses are linked down below. 30 plus hours covering complex block entities with fluid and energy handling, custom mobs, custom networking, and even custom biomes and dimensions. Everything you need for 26.x, all in one place, linked down below in the description. Alright, and here we go with the 26.1 tutorials for Fabric. It's going to be absolutely spectacular, and let's of course over here we're going to start by first of all installing an IDE. With that being said, always take a look at the description or the pinned comment for compatibility, as right now we're doing this for 26.1.2, and in the future there might be some changes. It is bound to happen, okay? We're going to start over here by installing an IDE, IntelliJ of course, my beloved, and here a very important point. There is only one download left, and yes, this does include the ultimate subscription trial, but it is a free download. You do not have to pay for IntelliJ Ultimate. Please, for the love of God, I know that it can sometimes be complicated, but you just download IntelliJ IDEA right here, and then you just keep using it for free. You do not need the ultimate subscription for what we're doing over here. For our purposes, for basically making Minecraft mods, the free community version that is included in this download is more than enough. You then install IntelliJ onto your PC like any other program. If you already have a previous version, it will prompt you to uninstall that and then only install the new version. If that does not happen for you, then it's just going to switch to, there we go, installing the new version, which is exactly what we're going to do. That is okay. You theoretically do not have to add any of the installation options. Click next, install, and then once again, we're just going to wait until this has installed like any other program onto your PC, and we'll continue after that. There we go, IntelliJ IDEA has been installed, and we're going to click the Run IntelliJ IDEA over here, which will bring up a window, which we're going to take a look at in a second. First things first, I do want to give you a couple of pointers. And those pointers start with, of course, the Hightail N Minecraft Modding Java Introduction here from 2026. I highly recommend you get yourself some Java knowledge. I know that I say this every single time in every one of the setup tutorials, but I will say it one more time. If you have no Java knowledge at all, then following this series is going to be very difficult for you because we're dealing with Java. It is what it is. So I do highly recommend, if you want to deepen your Java knowledge, now is the best time to do so. This introduction over here is I think it's absolutely amazing. I've really put my heart and soul into this one. So I really think that you're gonna come out of that particular tutorial series with way more knowledge than you had before, especially if you're an absolute beginner. I cannot recommend it enough. Go through it first, and then you can continue with the series over here. And for the next step, we're going to go to the Fabric MC website to actually generate us our Fabric project. This is going to be way more straightforward than you might think. I highly recommend, as per usual, of course, all of those links will be linked in the description below. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to change our name to Tutorial Mod. Now here, this is a personal preference of mine. You don't have to do it, but I usually use a custom ID because I don't like to have the dash in my mod ID, so that the name of the mod is tutorial space mod, and then the mod ID is tutorial mod, all written together. For the package name, usually the way that this works is that you choose a domain that you have and then you reverse it. So, you know, if this was Fabric, they would do net.fabricmc. Now, in my case, what I'm going to do is net.Kaupenjoe. And then here we're going to do tutorial mod. I highly recommend you basically set it up like this almost all the time. Here, of course, changing it to your name, right? So if your name is John, you do net.john.tutorialmod. Or if you have an online name, an online alias, right, you can do net.xxxlayerxxx.tutorialmod if that is your online alias, for example. In this case, we're going to use 26.1.2 as this is the latest Minecraft version that we have available. Please always double check the description for any sort of compatibility. I will have that in the description as well as the linked comment, like the pinned comment, because, you know, things might change. They will inevitably change. So just do keep that in mind. Then for the advanced options, this is a personal preference of mine. We're going to turn off the split and common sources, and we're going to turn on the data generation. Do you necessarily need to do that? Well, I highly recommend you turn on data generation. That is 100% needed. Split client and common sources, you don't necessarily need to keep that off. But, you know, if you want to follow this one-to-one, then I highly recommend you have it set up exactly like this. And then you download the zip file over here. And now let's extract that. Here we have the tutorial mod template right here. And we're just going to right-click, drag it. We're going to extract this over here, and I'm already going to make a proper name for it, and that's going to be the fabric-tutorial-26.x. There we go, and we can go into that folder, and right here, there's just sort of one or two things that we might want to change. The first one is, I personally like to delete the .github folder, as those are GitHub workflows, and I just don't need those set up, in my opinion, for the tutorial series. If you have a proper mod, then there's a reasoning that you can like keep those, but for the time being, that's fine. In theory, you can also get rid of the license file, as that is the license file for specifically the template right here, and that is going to be under CC0 anyway, so that is just public domain, so you should basically be good with that. But now we want to go up to the top right here to copy the address, and then we want to go to IntelliJ. So for IntelliJ, it's going to look similar to this, a little bit different, because you might not have all of these projects over here, but you will have three buttons: the project button, the new project button, the open button, and the clone repository button. You want to click the open button right here and put in the file directory that we've just copied over. We're going to select that folder, and we're going to trust the project, and it's going to open a new window, and all sorts of things are going to happen here. You can see at the bottom left right here in the little hammer, it's going to start building. Now, if you get in, you know, a build unsuccessful, a build failed immediately, do not worry. We're going to go through all of the different steps to basically, well, fix that. For the time being, if this is running, just let it run through, and we're gonna fix it all once this is finished over here, and we'll go through the troubleshooting steps after that. What it's doing over here is just downloading all of the assets and Fabric that it needs, basically. So this is gonna be Fabric, all of its dependencies and things like that. It's configuring things in the background. That's why we have to, you know, it sometimes takes like a minute or two for this to work, depending on how fast your PC is, how fast your internet connection is, things like that. Yeah, just stay patient, and then we'll proceed from there. And there we go. Like I said, it did all sorts of crazy things. Took over a minute 46 seconds. That's totally fine. If you get any warnings like this, the matching copy action warning can be safely ignored. There's no issue with that whatsoever, and we can now proceed to actually take a look at everything. The first thing to look at is, of course, if you've got a build failed, you want to go to the hamburger menu under project structure. And then here under the SDK, we want to make sure that we choose Temurin 25 or 25 at all. If you have no SDK or JDK installed, that is not an issue. You simply click download JDK. And here you want to make sure, super important, to choose version 25, because you need the version 25. For the vendor, you can basically choose any of them. I personally really like Eclipse Temurin. That's the one that I've basically, you know, I just like that one. But theoretically, you could choose any one of them. You just click that, click download, and then there we go. Then you choose that. So Temurin 25, I've just downloaded that one. And on the language level, I would recommend you do SDK default. You hit apply right here, okay. And then you want to go to the hamburger menu again, to settings. Under build execution deployment, build tools, Gradle, you want to make sure that your Gradle JVM is also set to the project SDK, because if there is a mismatch, it can sometimes be detrimental, basically, and things might not work. Once you've done those two steps, you can then go to the top right corner to the Gradle tab and click the little sync all Gradle projects button, and that's going to rerun all of the imports, and then hopefully now you're going to get a build successful after this. Like I said, these warnings over here, they can be ignored, but yeah, hopefully now it's going to run through and it's going to have everything done, and now you're good to go. With that being said, let's then expand this over here, the source folder, the main folder, and you can see we have the tutorial mod, the data generator, and the mixin right here. Final thing on the way that this looks like, you want to go to the three dots over here to appearance, and then both flattened packages as well as compact middle packages is what I usually turn off. You don't have to, but if you want to make sure that this looks exactly the same as it does for me, then I do recommend you do exactly that. Additionally, we can double click the tutorial mod class over here and open it, and we can see this is the tutorial mod class. This is our main class, so to speak. And the final thing to think about that you may or may not want is you want to go to the hamburger menu again, to settings, and under plugins over here in the marketplace, you can look for the Minecraft development plugin right here. I recommend that you install this. I already have it installed, so that's why it's, prompting me to update, but basically you can install that, and that is going to, for example, add the little, fabric icon right here, and it does all sorts of things with mixin, and there's just a couple of quality of life improvements that it has. It's actually quite useful. With that being said, for the purposes of this, I'm just going to delete the comments over here, and the rest, I'm pretty sure, like, I basically want to just keep them like they are. A couple of notes on the Gradle properties file. If you want to update Fabric at any time under Fabric MC Net Develop, we can actually take a look at that. So this side right here, you can see any updates for your, like, for the Fabric version and things like that. So you can basically take those and literally, copy them almost one-to-one over. We also have the mod properties. Most important here is the mod version. So the version, how you want to make your version is basically up to you, but I do recommend you add some sort of version of Minecraft in there, because that just makes it a little bit easier to basically determine, okay, what is that like particular jar file version for your mod. If you change anything in the Gradle properties file, you're going to get the little error, like the little elephant, to reload this, and then you're going to be fine. Another important file is the fabric.mod.json file, which has all of the different information for your mod. So for example, you can see description. So I can say this is a tutorial mod for Kaupenjoe's tutorial series on YouTube, for example, right? And then the author is going to be me, which is Kaupenjoe, Kaupenjoe.net, and the sources, well, I have to change the sources once I have the GitHub repository, but that's fine. My license here in this case is the MIT license, and the rest here I'm going to stick to what this is basically. So when it comes to the entry points, those are going to be kept like that, and the rest is fine. So you can, of course, change this to whatever you have and whatever you want, but in general, that is the idea. Now, how do we run Minecraft for the first time? Well, we can go to the top right corner to current file, and we choose the Minecraft client, and we hit this little run button, and all of a sudden, all sorts of machinery starts working, and then at some point, after, a couple of seconds or so, a new window will appear, and that window, well, it sounds crazy, but that's going to be Minecraft. There it is, and of course, press enter to enable the narrator. Absolutely not. We're going to go to options over here and immediately get rid of the music. And I'm also going to do my keybinds just so that I feel well at home over here. That is always a great idea. There we go. There we have it, Minecraft 26.1.2 modded right here, and that is going to be the first time we have actually run Minecraft. Now, there's one more thing that I want to do, and that is set up a GitHub repository. So for each one of the lessons in this particular playlist and in this tutorial series, there's going to be, the code is always going to be available to you. So all of the source code will be available, linked in the descriptions below, and any downloads you might need are also linked in the descriptions below. And for the tutorial mod right here, what I'm going to do is we're going to set up the GitHub repository. GitHub right here is a super reputable site. It's basically just like the most common site used to save, projects like this, like software projects. So I highly recommend you basically go make an account there, and then we can actually publish the mod on there. A couple of reasons why you want to do that. If you want help from another your GitHub repository, you can be like, hey, this is my GitHub repository, XYZ doesn't work, can you take a look? And that's going to make it so much easier to diagnose the issue, because otherwise, sometimes you don't even know where the issue lies, and so it just makes it way easier. Second idea, when you have a GitHub repository, it's going to save all of your progress, so you can basically push it to, like, all of your changes to the GitHub repository, and what's going to happen there is then it's going to save your project. So let's say your computer explodes and your project is, however, saved on the GitHub repository. All of a sudden, you have all of the code that you can still download from there, so highly recommended. You go to the version control right here, share project on GitHub, and then there we go. Now this is going to call it tutorial mod. Absolutely not. This is the fabric-tutorial-26.x right here. Now I'm going to keep it private for the time being. If you want to share it with another person, obviously you would make it public, but I'm going to show you how you can make it public as well when we actually have it. Right now I can't share it by anything because I don't have the account. So we're going to add an account login via GitHub. And as long as you are logged in onto your browser, you can simply authorize in GitHub right here. And then when we go back and see, boom, for me, github.com/Kaupenjoe, I want to share this. Absolutely fantastic. And, there's going to load a couple of things. your files are going to turn red. Do not worry, that's totally fine. And this is our initial commit. I'm going to add those, and it's going to automatically push that onto GitHub. And if I were to now click that little link down there, you can see, boom, this is my Fabric tutorial 26.x. It's not going to be exactly this particular GitHub repository that's going to be available to you, because I'm going to have this on an organization, but regardless, the idea remains the same. For GitHub, like the super easy introduction over here, there are two important words that you need to know for GitHub: commit and push. So the idea, and theoretically pull as well, but like push and commit are the most important. When I change something in here, like adding an important comment, there we go, important comment right here, you can see that the name of the file changes to blue. That means there are changes in this file. Now those changes right now, I only know that there are changes, but they're not saved yet. To save them, I go to the commit tab on the left right here, and I go to, yep, those changes I want to commit, added important comment. And if I now commit those changes, they are now saved on my PC. So you can now see that this is no longer blue because the changes have been committed. They have sort of been committed to quote unquote memory on my PC, on my repository that is saved on my PC. But you can also see there's a little arrow that appeared on the top left corner right here, and that is going to be saying, hey, we have a commit that we haven't pushed to, to the internet yet, to GitHub, so it's not saved online yet. So we want to go there and go to push right here, and then, you're going to get all sorts of warnings and things like that. Those are normal because Minecraft modding is an absolute mess in terms of just, hacks and things like that. So you're going to probably get some warnings. Usually you can push regardless of those warnings, and we're going to say push anyways, and that is now going to push those changes, so the important comment that we've made, onto GitHub. So if I go here and I reload this page, you can see added important comment, and I can even take a look at this under the tutorial mod right here. Boom, important comment. It is right there. Now that is really freaking cool, and I mean that is, I don't know, that's like really nice, and this is in theory all you need for GitHub. If you want a bit more of a involved sort of a tutorial on that, there are plenty of things on YouTube. This isn't supposed to be like a full GitHub repository tutorial, because this is just for you to save this in addition to everything else. Now that we have everything set up though, we are good to go, and that's going to actually conclude this first tutorial over here to set everything up. I hope you found this useful and you learned something new, and I'll see you all in the next tutorial. So, yeah.